Welcome to Commerce classes. So today we'll be understanding solving problems of insolvency of a partner. Now, when we are solving practical problems on insolvency of a problem, again remember, number one thing will be we'll have to establish that there is an insolvency of a partner which is relevant for the firm. That is, the partner is to bring money into the firm which he cannot bring. So there is a case of insolvency. So this is first thing that we will establish. After that, we will look into the problem, that are we given any provisions in the partnership deed, that is our question saying something regarding the capital loss. So if your question is saying anything like the losses arising on insolvency will be shared equally or in some ratio, then we'll have to follow the same. But if our question is silent, then we follow Garner versus Murray's ruling. Right now we all know how to account for Garner versus Murray's ruling, and therein there's just one requirement which says that the solvent partners are to bring cash equal to their share of realization loss. Now sometimes we wonder that what is the need of this, because they will be bringing cash at one place and then the same will be adjusted and they will be paid cash. So what is the point of getting this and then paying it back? So please remember, since the ruling was given by the court of law and they have specified this procedure, so we'll have to follow the procedure if we are given in the question that follow this ruling. But if your question is silent, that is nothing is given in the question, in that case we are following the ruling on our own. In that case you may leave this additional requirement, but otherwise we should always follow. Now the question says X, Y and Z are partners. Okay, they are sharing profits and losses in this ratio. The firm is dissolved on 1st April. Okay, when we read the balance sheet, our aim is to split it into two parts: what goes in partners accounts and what goes in realization. So when we look at liability side, capitals, P&L balance, reserve and X, these all amounts belong to partners, so this will go in partners accounts, and creditors and bills payable will go in realization account. Herein you have plant, stock, debtor, furniture, so these will be sold out, so these will be recorded through realization. Bank is prepared separately, and then drawings and capital again will go in partners accounts. Now additional information says stock realized 12,200, debtors realized 30,000, and furniture is sold for 4,200. Plant is taken over by X, so X is taking over this for 18,000. A contingent liability for discounted bills is materializing. If it is materializing, it means we are to pay this liability. Okay, then you have realization expenses. So when you look at the adjustments, this question is fairly simple. We are not given the adjustments like half of asset is taken over at this price, half is given, because the focus is now on insolvency. Okay, Z is insolvent. So since Z is insolvent, so we'll have to establish, is it relevant for us or not? Since he can pay only 1900, so while preparing his account, we'll have to check. If we demand, or if our requirement in the firm is up to 1900, he will pay it and no problem. It's a simple question. But if the requirement is for more than this amount, it means his insolvency is now relevant for the firm, because the amount that he cannot bring will be the capital loss, and we'll have to work according to the question Garner versus Murray's ruling. Alright, so let us solve the question, because till the time we establish the insolvency, it's a simple question. So our realization account will be prepared in the normal format. Alright, so we are having a closure of various assets. So plant 21,000, stock 15,500, debtors 32,000, furniture 5,000. That means when we close these assets, 73,500, various liabilities and provisions being closed here, creditors and bills payable 30,000 and 5,000, so 35,000. Now show the disposal. So for the assets, X is taking over plant, so this will be put into his account for 18,000. Remaining assets are being disposed of. So bank account, you are selling stock for 12,200. You are selling, recovering 30,000 from debtors. Furniture is disposed of for 4,200. Okay, so just record everything. All right, now here comes the payment on the debit side. So you are to pay to all liabilities in full, because if nothing is given, liabilities are paid in full. Then you have expenses of 600 and you have unrecorded liability, right? 600, that is for the discounted bills. So you can note down here that 36,200. Now when we total up this, you know that debit total is more, so there is going to be realization loss. All right, so let us just calculate the amount. $10,300 is the amount of loss. So loss transferred to capital accounts. So X, Y and Z. Ratio is 3:2:1. So in this ratio we will split this loss. So this is 5,150. Okay, and for Y it is 3,433 and for Z it is 1,717. Okay, now we'll prepare the capital account in the usual format, because insolvency will be established at the time of final payment. Okay, so just make a format, prepare the account. Now till now you know the complete process of preparing capital accounts, right? When we are to prepare capital accounts, what we have in our hands is we have balance sheet and we have with us realization account. So just make the posting. So first of all, pick up the capital balances and other amounts belonging to partners. So you have balance here. How much is the balance? 20,000 for X, 10,000 for Y. Then you have P&L balance. So distribute it among partners in their ratio 3:2:1. Then you have reserve fund, distributed in their ratio. Okay, then you have X loan. You can separately prepare his account and you can pay it also, but when we are preparing the accounts here through capital, so we can always close their loans and advances in the capital accounts also. So there is no point of creating a separate account. We can close it here, no issues here. On the other side you have capital balance of Z. So balance brought down for Z 6,000, and you have drawings of X and Y. So 4,000 and 1,000. So we have picked up everything from the balance sheet. Now come to realization. So here in X has taken over investment. So realization account, investment taken over by X. Then you have the loss. So this loss will be distributed 5,150, 3,433 and 1,717. Now we'll have to prepare a working note and we'll have to establish insolvency of Z. So in the working note what we find is that Z has a balance amount of how much? You see, he is having 7,717 here, and on the credit side his total is 3,000. It means his balance is 4,717. I hope you get it. This is the debit total and this is the credit total 3,000. So his difference is 4,717, and technically if this amount comes here he is to bring this much money, but he cannot bring because we are given he can bring only 1,900. So Z brings in 1,900, which implies capital loss arising on account of his insolvency is the amount that he cannot bring. That means 2,817. So this is his capital loss. So how will we adjust this loss? Now as per Garner versus Murray's ruling, this loss is to be borne by the remaining solvent partners. So our first step was establishing insolvency. Now find out the remaining solvent partners. Since there were three partners X, Y and Z. Z is insolvent, so by assumption X and Y are solvent, because we are not given anything. If nothing is given, we'll assume them to be solvent partners. So this loss will be borne by these two partners in capital ratio. So our third step will be calculate capital ratio. So what is the ratio? It is the ratio of capital claims. Since capitals are fluctuating, you are not given current accounts, it's a fluctuating capital, so we will be calculating capital claims of the partners. So how do we calculate? It is the claim on the date of balance sheet. So pick up the balance sheet, write down their amounts. So they have the capital of 20,000, 15,000. They have P&L balance of how much? 3,000 and 2,000. You have reserve here 6,000 and 4,000. Okay, loan will not be considered because it is not capital. Drawings 4,000 and 1,000. So on the other side we have drawings. So if you have any loss, accumulated expenses, these will also be considered. So how much is the capital claim? 25,000, and herein it is 20,000, which means the ratio is 5:4. So capital ratio is 5:4. So this loss will be divided in this ratio. That means X's share in loss is going to be 2817 into 5/9. So you just calculate his share of loss. So it is 1565. Y's share in loss will be 2817 into 4/9. So this is the working. Okay, so it is coming out to be 1252. So this is how Garner versus Murray's ruling says that we are to work for insolvency. Now coming to accounting part. So ruling says that first of all these partners will be asked to make up for the realization loss. So they need to bring this much amount in cash. Then you will give them the loss. So now we'll ask Z to bring in the amount that he can bring. So he can bring 1900. So we'll ask him to bring this. Remaining loss will be taken up by X and Y. So how much are they taking? X is getting 1565. So X is to bear this much loss and Y is to bear 1252. Alright, so this loss is borne by X and Y. So in X and Y's capital account, this loss will be debited. Okay, so Z's capital account. Okay, so this is how we have worked. Now Z's account is done. His account is complete because whatever he could bring, he brought it. Remaining is his loss, which we have adjusted. Now we will be closing accounts of X and Y. So we will calculate their final balances. So what we are having is here in okay, so herein for this partner we are getting okay, there was an error. It is 15,000. Okay, there was an error in totaling, so it is 24,000 here. So what will be the amount that he will now he will be paid? 18,748. Okay, for X the total is coming out to be let us make the total 40,150. So he will be paid how much? So this is the final settlement. So you just need to total up the two sides and calculate the final amounts. So he is having 11,435, right? So the difference of debit and credit. Now we have calculated final settlement. We can prepare bank account to check the accuracy of our records. So we have a balance of how much? Bank balance is 9,500. So when you prepare this account, you have everything available, right? In the balance sheet we have taken the balance. From realization we'll calculate the total recoveries, that is 46,400, and we will show the total payment also, that is 36,200. Now from the capital accounts, these are the amounts that you are getting. So X, Y and Z. X is bringing 5150, Y is bringing 3433, that is their share in the loss, and Z is bringing 1900. On the other side, we'll show the final payments. Okay, so X and Y, 11,435 and 18,748. So you can total up the amounts. All right, so this is how insolvency is worked out in a problem. Now let us dwell on some more matters here. Now suppose in place of this drawing, if it was a current account, now how will it affect your question? Now if we are given current account, it means capitals are fixed. Now when capitals are fixed, then we don't need to calculate capital ratio like this. So if capital is fixed, then the ratio is ratio of fixed capital. So there you can directly take ratio as 4:3. Right. So if capitals are fixed, if current accounts are given, then ratio can directly be had from the question. Another thing can be, now suppose your question was not silent. Suppose your question was saying here, in place of this Garner versus Murray's ruling, if your question says that partnership deed allows the insolvency loss to be shared equally, then we don't need to do anything further, because the question itself says that divide this loss equally. It means that whatever loss we are getting here, that is 2817, this can directly be divided equally among the partners. So we'll work according to the question given to us. If question provides us something, like in this case, we'll work accordingly. And if it doesn't say anything, follow Garner versus Murray's ruling and calculate capital ratio very carefully, because there are two rules, fixed capital and another for fluctuating capital. So I hope this insolvency of the partner is clear to you. We may practice one more question, otherwise we'll take up the next part of your chapter. So stay learning and practicing, stay happy. Thank you.